Hey, you want to hire the best team members for your company? You want to hire rock stars? You want to make sure that you onboard the best people and explode your company? Well, then you're going to want to hear this message. So check this out. Hey, this is part 3 in a 3-part series about how to hire the best people for your small business. One of the things that I've been watching over the last couple of quarters is the reports coming from small business associations saying that most small business owners' biggest challenge is in hiring quality people to come on board for their business. This is another part of this series in helping you onboard the best team members. And today I want to talk to you about the best hiring process. We've already covered what the best interview questions were, and the first one in the series was about how to hire the best people. What's the reason for that? This one is going to be how we set the stage, what the best process is. And if this is your first time with me, my name's Joey, aka That Small Biz Guy, and I am on a crusade to help you improve your small biz life. In fact, our mission statement is your success is our business. I'm coming to you again from the kitchen, because in the kitchen is where we can have deep, meaningful, hardcore conversations that will help change and improve your life. I know as a small business owner, you struggle with hiring the best people. And I want you to know that just because they can fog up a mirror doesn't mean that they're the right person for your team. In fact, who you hire is the most important thing that you can do in your business. And whether you're hiring your very first employee, which I know can be a scary situation, it's now I'm bringing on somebody else. I'm responsible for somebody else's success as a leader. They might be counting on their mortgage payment and my ability to grow this business with them to help them be successful because we're successful. Or whether you're on your 10th employee and this is just kind of, you're used to this and you've got your little hiring process down, so maybe we tweak that hiring process to a whole different level. Let's jump in to these tips. Okay, I really enjoyed the hiring process. I really like people. I enjoy getting to know them. I love hearing their stories. But here's what I do know. In the hiring process, they often show up nervous as cats on a hot tin roof, right? I know that I've got to figure out how do I get to make them show me the real them. I don't need to see the nervous. I don't need to see the person that's got butterflies in their stomach. I had a lady one time tell me that she thought that she was going to wet her pants. She was so nervous. You don't want to see that person. You want to see the real person, the person that you're going to interact with day in and day out. That's who you want to see in this interview process. So the very first thing you need to do is get them to relax. Ask them some question that has nothing to do with the hiring process. What's their favorite thing to do as a hobby? What would they do if they took a cruise? Where would they go and what would they do? Get them off on something that's about them, that's something that they like and that they enjoy, so that they loosen up and they can tell you a story. Now you got to be mindful. I've been in these things, they want to tell me an hour's worth of story in our interview process, so you got to give them some time frame here or be able to cut them short. But whatever you do, loosen them up. And you know, one of my things, and I've even done a video about this before, is I do the fist bump. And I always, after we loosen up, and I tell them, hey, I'm just Joey. I'm just a regular guy, and I'm looking for the best. I give them the upfront about what we're after here, but I always give them a fist bump. And I've actually had people tell me during the interview and email me after the interview saying that, oh my goodness, that was the best interview I've ever been in. And I don't think I've ever given anybody a fist bump in an interview. What that proves though is the ability to loosen them up. Now, it's not 100% successful. I've been with them that never loosened up. They were probably a great candidate and probably been a great team member, but because they were so nervous they couldn't loosen up and they couldn't handle the questions because they were so nervous that it really shot the opportunity for them. Get them relaxed. Have them show you the real you. That is the first thing you got to do in having a great interview process. Okay, now that you've got them loosened up, the next piece of the process that works really great, that's really going to help them and you, is line out the interview process. Tell them exactly what the agenda is going to be. I always give them the heads up that I'm going to tell them a story, and then I'm going to ask them some questions, and then they're going to have a chance to ask me questions, and we're going to go back and forth with that for a little bit. And then here's how we're going to end it. I always tell them this, that I'm going to wait and say the hardest question for last. And for me, the hardest question at the end is always, why you? Why should I hire you over everybody else that has come in and done an interview? But I like to give them a heads up of exactly what they're going to expect in the time that we have together, including in telling them how much time we're going to have together, so that they know that there's a start and an end time, and this is how long it's going to be. Agenda is super important, that they know and that you got lined out in the great interview process. All right, the next piece of a great interview process is in asking great questions. In part 2 of this series, I did spend that talking about what are great interview questions. Don't do the sell me my phone, sell me this pen, that type of questions. Be unique, be creative. You know what people notice? People notice exceptional. And if you ask exceptional questions, they're going to really notice that, and you're really going to bring the best out of them. Part of a great interview process is asking great questions. Be prepared with those questions. The other part of the great interview process is once you get to the point where now it's their turn to ask questions. I really like the part where they ask questions, because I really get a sense of how involved they are. One of the things that I really dislike is when their first question is, what's the pay? Their second question is, what are the benefits? To me, that just tells me that they might not be in this for the right reasons, but allow them to ask questions. And here is a way to get really good questions from them, is encourage them to ask tough questions. Challenge them. If they are struggling with it, help them through. Coach them through asking you great questions. Maybe you ask, don't you want to know about? And then fill in the blank. Give them one or twos to see that you're willing to answer really tough questions. Look, in an interview process, you want to head off all the stuff that could happen down the road. I typically interview for an hour. I hear a lot of people tell me, oh, I only interview for 30 minutes. You do way too long. But you know what? I don't ever want there to be any confusion about what the role is, about what our vision and mission and our culture is in our company. So we're going back and forth with that information during the interview process. But I want them to ask hard questions to me. I tell them, look, this is a two-way interview. I want to make sure that you're the best person for our company, and you need to make sure that we're the best company for you to come in and include in your career path. Ask tough questions. Now, here is a great additional piece for the question stuff. This happens to all of us. Every one of us are guilty of this. When that candidate leaves us, they're going to think of 5 questions before they ever get to the house. I always challenge them to email me back. I give them my email address and challenge them to email me back and ask additional questions. Now, I do say one email, 4 to 5 questions, but I do challenge them to give me hard questions, because that tells you a lot of stuff of information about their thought process and their skills when you do that. Challenge them to ask you hard questions and to make this a great interview process for both parties. You know, we've talked about in this series the importance of hiring the best team members for your company. It's just in the best interest of everyone, for you in growing your company, for you finding long-term loyal team members who are perfect for the role that they have. And in the end, your customers win. And when your customer wins, they're going to have a lot more loyalty to you, and they're going to help you grow your business by word of mouth referral, because they love you so much. So in this interview process, because this is such an important piece of growing your business, I even recommend you doing this in refining and perfecting this whole interview process, is go back and talk to your other employees that you have now, regardless of how long they've been with you, and ask them about the interview process, how you can improve it, what What did they like about it and what did they dislike about it? What did they wish that had been done differently? Get that feedback and never stop tweaking, never stop amping up your interview process. You know, I recommend that every business had the mindset that I want to be the employer of choice for my industry and my community. If you work this interview process, if you work on your vision, your mission, and your culture, and then you take all of that and you implement that into this interview process, and you're not just taking the first person that comes in. If they give you references, call the references. Look them up on LinkedIn. Find out, is this person really the best person to come on board with us? Here's another suggestion. Do a disc profile on them. Have that part of your regular interview process that you conduct a disc profile on them and get that information back. This really will be revealing. This will help you in your interview process for some of the areas that you might not have questioned in, to really reveal, is this the perfect person? Look, I want your company to win. Hiring and onboarding and keeping long-term employees is key to your success. You know, one of the greatest little stickers I ever saw while I was riding down the road was on the back of a semi in Atlanta, Georgia. I was going down the road one time, and this is the first time I've ever seen it. I don't know if you've ever seen one or not, but there was a trucking company that had a sticker on the back of the semi, and it said, "We hire to retire." And that just really struck me, that these people really meant that I want to look for the best people and I want them to come on board, and we're going to create such a great culture that you want to stick with us until the day you decide, I don't ever want to work anymore because I'm going to retire, and here's what I'm going to do now. Have that mentality that you're going to hire to retire. Tweak this interview process so that when you're hiring, you're getting the best, most qualified long-term team members that's possible, and then explode your business with these talented people. Hey, possibly there was somebody you thought about while you were listening to this series that you thought could really use it. Maybe a colleague or another business that you know is hiring in the hiring process, and some of these suggestions and tips and advice could help them out. Take a second and share this with them, please. I would really appreciate it. Additionally, I would love to hear from you. If I missed anything, if you've got this one really unique thing that you're doing in your hiring process, that you're finding that you're really hiring super top talent in from your community, I would love to hear those. Comment here or hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter connection is @JoeyPeacock, and I would love to have a conversation with you there. I know for a fact that owning and running a successful small business is tough. It is a challenge. There's many sleepless nights. There's many frustrations. There's ups, there's downs, there's success, and there's where you stumped your toe. I want you to know that you don't have to do this alone. If there's any way that we could help you, we're going to put a link in the description that goes with this, where you can reach out to us. If you click on that link and then scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a little contact section there. Reach out to us there and let us know how we can help you grow and improve your small biz life. Hey, it means the world to me that you carve out part of your time to spend with me here listening to this message, and I really hope that I've delivered value to you in this series and helping you with your hiring process. I really want you to be successful, and I know, because I know it myself, the only way to be great is if you surround yourself with great people. So thanks for hanging out with me. Remember this: think creatively, remove the friction, and become uniquely better, and you will succeed in your quest to improve your small biz life. You know what? I'm going to get busy doing that myself. Until next time, you guys take care, and I'm out of here.